Hi, my name is Patrick Reagan. This series of videos, Computer Electricity and Electronics, will explain what is electricity and how it affects the computer and various electronic components that are heavily used in computers. Before you start working with computers, let's go over some electrical and computer safety tips. Most of these should be common sense, but some of these you may not think about. Remember, computers are devices that use electricity, and electrical safety is paramount. When you work on a computer or any power equipment, ensure that the work surface is flat and clean. Your hands should be clean and dry. Be careful when working inside computers, as some edges can be sharp and you can easily cut yourself. Always disconnect the power cord before opening the case or working on internal parts. For laptops, you need to also remove any batteries installed in the battery bay or module bay. Keep in mind that some laptops have non-removable batteries. Question: is it safe to work in a computer if the computer is plugged in but off? Answer: it is not completely safe to work inside a computer while it is plugged in, even if it's turned off. Risks of working on a plugged-in PC include: the standby power is still active. Even when off, modern power supplies provide plus 5 volts standby power to the motherboard, which can still shock you or damage components if mishandled. Risks of short circuits: accidentally bridging 2 points with a screwdriver or dropping a metal object could cause permanent damage. Power supply capacitors hold charge. Some power supply capacitors can store charge even when unplugged, but this risk is greater if the system is still connected to power. When is it safe to keep it plugged in? If you only need grounding and won't be touching internal components, you can leave it plugged in but turned off. Switch the power supply off if it has the switch. Using the case for ESD grounding, touch the metal before unplugging, then work safely. Best and safest practice: unplug the power cable from the power supply. Press and hold the power button for 5 to 10 seconds to drain any residual power. Use an ESD wrist strap or periodically touch the metal case to prevent static buildup. To avoid potential hazard of electric shock, do not connect or disconnect any cables or perform maintenance on your equipment during an electrical storm. Wear rubber-soled shoes. Remember, rubber is a good insulator. When working on a computer, you should remove any jewelry from your hands and wrists. You should consider removing loose clothing, including ties and scarves that may fall into the computer while working on the computer. Ground yourself. Static electricity can damage sensitive components. Use an anti-static wrist strap or periodically touch a grounded metal object to discharge static. Never use both hands to handle an electronic device. Handle components and cards with care. Do not touch the components or contacts on a card. Hold a card by its edges or by its metal mounting bracket. Hold a component such as a processor by its edges, not by its pins or metal contacts. Avoid wearing clothing made of silk, polyester, or wool, since these fabrics are more likely to generate an electric static charge. Make sure that water or any other liquid does not touch or submerge any electronic devices. To prevent electric shock, plug the equipment power cables into properly grounded electrical outlets. Do not use adapter plugs that bypass the grounding features, or remove the grounding feature from the plug or adapter. Extension cable or power strip should be connected to a wall power outlet and not another extension cable or power strip. Do not overload your power strip or power outlet. For using an extension power cable or power strip, ensure that the total amperage rating of the product plugged in to the extension power cable does not exceed the ampere rating of the extension cable. Never use an AC adapter or power cable that shows signs of damage or excessive wear. When you disconnect a cable, pull on the plug, its connector, or its pull tab, not on the cable itself. Keep in mind that some connectors have locking tabs or thumb screws that have to be disengaged before disconnecting the cable. When disconnecting cables, keep them evenly aligned to avoid bending any connector pins. When connecting cables, ensure that their ports, connectors, and pins are correctly oriented and aligned. Do not use a damaged battery, including dents, punctures, and exposure to flame. Do not use a battery if it swells. Replace it. Do not expose, store, or place your computer or battery pack to a heat source, such as a radiator, fireplace, stove, electric heater, or other heat-generated appliances, or otherwise expose it to temperatures in excess of 65 degrees Celsius or 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Do not carry a battery in your pocket, purse, or other container where metal objects such as keys could short-circuit the battery terminals. Replace all screws and ensure that no stray screws remain inside your computer. Check for rattling. When a computer is on, including laptops, make sure you have the proper ventilation for all fans, including the power supply. Do not allow your laptop or adapter to operate with the base resting directly on your exposed skin for extended periods of time, which can lead to burns. Power supply caution. Avoid opening or touching the power supply unit, or PSU, as it can hold a dangerous charge even after being unplugged. Remember, servicing a power supply is done by an electronic expert, not a computer repair person. Assuming that you check to see if the voltage selection switches are selected for the right voltage, 115 volts versus 230 volts, and that the power cable was connected properly to an active outlet. If you have a faulty power supply, replace the power supply. Never assume anything without checking it out for yourself. Don't take shortcuts. When working in IT, as help desk, IT administrator, server administrator, or network administrator, you may need to handle computers, servers, or network equipment. You want to make sure you don't hurt yourself when picking up a computer, server, or network equipment. Make sure you lift with your legs, not your back. Keep your back straight, standing as close to the load as possible. Planting your feet shoulder width apart with one foot slightly ahead of the other. Hold the load close to your body at waist height. Don't carry overweight items. For heavier or bulkier items, get help and/or use equipment to lift the items. Question: what should you do if you hear a crackle when connecting a power cable? Answer: you should replace the cable. Question: you have a laptop with a swollen battery. What should you do? Answer: replace the battery. Question: you were called to your boss's office who said that his computer reboots frequently. You look at his setup and you notice that he has 3 surge protectors connected to a 4th surge protector, all filled with devices. What should you tell your boss? Answer: he has too many devices connected to the wall outlet, and you should not connect additional power strips to a single power strip. Question: which of the following should you do first before opening a computer so that you can service any internal components? Answer: disconnect power. Question: you're replacing the processor in a desktop computer. Prior to opening the computer, the technician wants to ensure the internal components are protected. Which of the following safety procedures would best protect the components in the PC? Choose 2 answers. Answers: utilizing an ESD strap, disconnecting the computer from the power source. For more information, visit this site. In summary, always disconnect the power cord before opening the case or working on internal parts. It is not completely safe to work inside a computer while it is plugged in, even if it's turned off. To prevent electric shock, plug the equipment power cables into properly grounded electrical outlets. Do not overload your power strips or power outlet. Do not plug the equipment power cables into electrical outlet if the power cable is damaged. Do not use a damaged battery, including dents, punctures, and exposure to flame. Do not use a battery if it swells. Replace it. When a computer is on, including laptops, make sure you have proper ventilation for all fans, including the power supply. Avoid opening or touching the power supply unit, or PSU, as it can hold a dangerous charge even after being unplugged. Never assume anything without checking it out for yourself. Don't take shortcuts. Thank you for watching this video. The next video in the Computer Electricity and Electronics series is using a multimeter. If you have not already, subscribe to the Pat Has Your Back channel. Thank you.